Alrighty. So I quickly mashed the garrison Hearthstone rotation time. So you got the stats, well, you got my reasoning behind stats, you got my reasoning behind the gear that I choose, you've got the talents that I choose and why I choose them. Next is how to play it. This will take a bit longer, so I'm going to launch straight in. Warriors are all about windows. You've got enrage window, which I touched on this already, but enrage window, which is 5.5 seconds of enrage, which yes increases your attack speed and also makes you take more damage, but it triggers your mastery, which is 40. At mine is currently 42% more damage. So for 5.5 seconds, 42% more damage. The other window that you've got is behind Battle Cry. Battle Cry is your major cooldown. It's the only one we got for Fury. Beyond your artifact ability weapon, but we'll get to that. And the Battle Cry window is 7 seconds. Now these windows will overlap, of course they will, because two abilities will enrage you. One is Bloodthirst, it generates a bit of rage and enrages you. And Rampage. Now Rampage costs rage, most of your rage, but it also enrages you. And when you hit either ability, your 5.5 seconds of enrage begins. Value that 5.5 seconds, because that's where all your damage is coming from. So the enrage window, 5.5 seconds. So when I get enraged, what can I fit into the 5.5 seconds? So really, it's the way I look at it is not so much the enrage window, because it's happening regardless. I look at my Frothing berserker window. Now Frothing berserker means that when you hit 100 rage, you're going to get 6 seconds, and here's another window, 6 seconds of increased damage, 15% increased damage. So for that 6.5 seconds, the first thing you want to do is enrage yourself. So you want to use Rampage if you're going back to spending abilities that generate rage, or you're going to use Bloodthirst if you're going to in abilities that cost rage. So Execute. If you're in an Execute rage phase, Bloodthirst is going to be your enrage tool. If you're not in Execute phase, Rampage is going to be your enrage tool. Pretty straightforward. Now the only reason you do it that way, and not a different way, is you got to spend that rage to get back up to Frothing berserker. If you just sit at 100 rage, this buff doesn't continue to refresh itself, it disappears. So you have to spend some rage and get back up before it'll re-trigger. Now in Execute phase, you'll be spending tons of rage because you're executing, bang bang bang. When you're not in Execute phase, the only ability that costs rage in general is Rampage. So you'll be up to 100 rage, Rampage, up to 100 rage, Rampage, up to 100 rage, Rampage. During Execute phase is a bit more of a balancing act, but we'll do Execute after the main rotation. So really, the best way to look at it is Frothing berserker windows. So as soon as you hit 100 rage, I have a weak aura that'll appear, which you'll see, that lets me know I've hit 100 rage. Now I usually turn off, where is it? Spell alert opacity. I turn that way down because the game will bring up these ability icons to let me know I can rampage. I don't want to rampage at 85 rage. I want to rely on my weak aura to let me know when to rampage, because my weak aura will only appear at 100, whereas if it appears at 85, I might accidentally go too early. That's what she said. So that's so you get to your 100 rage, then the first thing you want to do on that first GCD you're enraged is enrage yourself. Then you're pumping in as much damage as you can. So it looks like this. So I'll just get to 100 rage. So wait for it. There it is. There's my Frothing berserker icon, and then it's gone. So I'll be getting up to 100 rage. Wait for it. And then I rampage to get rid of the rage, and then I just follow a priority to fit as much as I can in this window, and then it's over. Then you do it again. Rampage, and then fill up the window. And then we'll hit 100 rage again, and then we just do it again. filling in as many abilities as you can into that window. Yeah, we're there again. See, it's just monotonous, it's repetitive. Now, what abilities am I putting? Let me just get rid of the rage. What abilities am I fitting in? So again, above 20%, so we're not worrying with that execute in this discussion. What abilities are we going to put in? So with enough haste, and if you look at the stats video, you'll get an explanation of haste and why it's so important. But at certain levels of haste, you'll be able to sneak in 4 abilities, and the only abilities you're going to be using. Now, I'm not including the first ability because that's your enrage ability. That's non-negotiable. You have to hit rampage to get yourself enraged. Going through a Frothing berserker window not enraged, you've just wasted 42% of your damage. So when a Frothing berserker window comes up, you're always enraging yourself. So which we're still talking rampage here. So after the rampage, with my haste level, I can fit in 4 abilities. Just sneak it in. Assuming MS, assuming the previous GCD has finished. When I enrage myself, I got to get on that rampage super fast to get my Frothing berserker window going. Now with heroism, lust, whatever you want to call it, time warp, you'll easily be able to fit in more abilities because you'll have really high haste, but self-buffed, this is the way it goes. So of the 3 abilities, which I've got Bloodthirst, I've got Raging Blow, I've got Wild Strikes, sorry, Furious Slash, I still call it Wild Strikes, RIP, whenever Wild Strikes came in. Anyway, for me, if you rank them in damage, you're going to be doing Raging Blow, Bloodthirst, Furious Slash. So because I can fit 4 abilities in, it makes the most sense to try fit in 2 Raging Blows, 1 Bloodthirst, and 1 Furious Slash. And that's the most I can fit into one of those Furious Berserker windows. If for some reason Raging Blow is on cooldown, well then you just move the priority. So you'll be doing 2 Bloodthirsts, 1 Raging Blow, 1 Furious Slash. So let's just get in here. Let's get up to max rage. So here we go. So we're doing Rampage, Raging Blow, Bloodthirst, Furious Slash, and then Rage. And it just fits in. I mean, I was a bit slow there, but it usually just fits in with haze food and all that sort of stuff. Now the other way the window can come up is with Bloodthirst, Raging Blow, Strikes, Bloodthirst. Because if for whatever reason Raging Blow's on cooldown, you start off with Bloodthirst. That's it. That's the bread and butter of what this is all about. Now you kind of ignore your enrage thing, but you just need to know how important it is. There's my enrage. I want it up as often as I can. So Raging Blow, sorry, Rampage, Raging Blow, Bloodthirst, Raging Blow. Anyway, that's how it is, right? That's my stack of Taste for Blood, or whatever it's called. That's my increased crit for my next Bloodthirst. Just gives me an idea if I know if it's going to proc. So that's that. Now when you get used to just doing that rotation over and over and over and over and over, you'll just get used to it, yeah? That's my execute aura, by the way, because this target's under 20%. But yeah, if you target something that's not under 20%, it'll disappear. But then when you go back, yeah, it's back. So then the next thing you got is, well, like I said, that's just repetition. If you bring now Battle Cry, so now we're talking, big damage here. So now you've got your burst window. Burst windows, again, always have to begin with an enrage. So it's going to be rampage most of the time. As soon as you're enraged, you've got 7 seconds of, as soon as you've hit Battle Cry, you've got 7 seconds of your Battle Cry window. Put as many abilities in as you can. Now, you'll do a same priority system. Now the priority system is pretty easy to understand. If you have Drafted Souls, it is your highest priority. So you'll be using that in your first GCD because you want all the ticks in your Battle Cry window. Then next, if you don't have it, or next, Raging Blow. Raging Blow is the next highest. It's the highest priority. Next, Odin's Fury. Odin's Fury, if only the whole 4 seconds are going to fit into your Battle Cry window, because remember it leaves a dot. If they're all going to fit into the window, then that's your next priority. Then after that, you've just got Bloodthirst and Furious Slash. That's it. So for me, my window looks like Oops, missed it. Draft of Souls. Then Raging Blow, Bloodthirst. And because you can't fit Drought of Souls and Odin's Fury into the same Battlecry window, you desync them. So my next Battlecry will come with Odin's Fury. And Odin's Fury just fits in snugly behind Raging Blow, so I'll go obviously cooldowns, enrage myself with Rampage, and then I'll go Raging Blow, Odin's Fury, Bloodthirst, Furious Slash. I'll just follow that priority system. So that's all it is. I'll show you in a second. Got to get rid of this rage though. Piss off. Get out of combat. Alright, so now the window's coming back up, or if you don't have Drought of Souls, whatever the fuck it's called, you'll charge in and enrage yourself. Raging Blow, Odin's Fury, Bloodthirst, Raging Blow, and sometimes you get, if you're lucky with procs and stuff, or you've got decent gear and you've got all the things that increase your rage, you'll get back up to Rampage fast enough that you can cast it, still within your Battlecry window. If you don't get up that quick, fine, sometimes you just have to end the window with a Furious Slash, it's no big deal. So that's that. Not difficult to understand these things. Get used to these windows, play that back, get used to it. It's just the highest damage I've been able to find in those windows. Moving on, you've got the execute rotation. So it's really annoying it's not letting me get out of combat. Now, for the execute window, you need to understand that your highest priority is still Drought of Souls. There's never going to be a situation where execute does more damage than this. Unless you can get super high stacks, which doesn't exist in current content. But with your execute rotation, I'm assuming everyone's read Juggernaut. Every 6 seconds you need to cast at least one execute to keep the stacks rolling. Now, executes when you're enraged, very powerful. Executes when you're not enraged, almost not worth casting, except to keep the buff up. So as soon as you hit 20%, you're going to completely drop Rampage and Raging Blow out of your rotation. Now, Rampage costs Rage, and you want to be spending on Execute. Execute will do more damage than a Rampage, so you're just going to piss Rampage off as soon as you hit 20%. There's no reason to use it. Well, perhaps if the fight's an AoE fight, you might still use it, but in general, when you want to be executing, you're just going to piss Rampage off. You're also going to piss Raging Blow off. Even though it does a ton of damage, it's not helping with our execute scenario, right? So, first things first, Juggernaut stacks, don't let them drop. Can't let them drop. So at least once every 6 seconds you're going to be doing this. How do you enrage yourself? Well, Bloodthirst. Bloodthirst will enrage you. And when you're enraged, that's when you're going to see big executes, especially as this stacks up. Now, if Bloodthirst is on cooldown and you're not enraged, so you don't want to be burning rage on executes, that's when you'll start filling with Furious Slash, because Furious Slash will increase the chance that you can enrage yourself with your next Bloodthirst. So it's just 3 abilities. So it's Bloodthirst, Furious Slash, and Execute. Don't let your Juggernaut stacks fall. Keep banging in Bloodthirst on cooldown to enrage yourself, and if you're not enraged and you don't need to refresh Juggernaut, then bang in a Furious Slash. When it comes around to your Battlecry Bloodthirst instead of Battlecry Rampage, because we're going to get rid of Rampage. We don't want it to enrage ourselves. We want Bloodthirst to enrage ourselves. And then when I'm enraged, first priority is Drought of Souls. Second priority is to bang in executes while you're enraged, and under the 100% crit, you just want to fucking smash them in. They'll do obscene amounts of damage. Now this becomes a little bit trickier if you mid Juggernaut stacks, because Draft of Souls locks you out from doing anything for 3 seconds, and it's very easy to let these stacks drop. So what you'll be doing is, before you go into your burst window, you'll execute once. So execute, battle cry, bloodthirst to get your enrage up, and then draft of souls. That'll take 4 seconds to do that, and you've got basically 6 seconds to refresh your juggernaut. So let me get this target dummy down here. Just get it down quick. Alright, so now we're down here. So here's my execute weak aura thingy, and there's my draft of souls ticking. I mean my juggernaut ticking. So you'll see every 6 seconds. Here it goes, it's going to disappear, bang. You got to keep it going. Bang. Okay, so around this, so I've just refreshed it, bloodthirst. I'm enraged, so I can bang in some executes. Then we're going to drop, so bloodthirst, not enraged, so I'm going to furious slash, not let this drop. Bloodthirst, yeah, we're enraged again, so we can execute. If you can do this consistently, you know, this is just how it rolls. If you can do this consistently and actually get back up to your Frothing berserker window like that, you're in for some good times. Then bloodthirst, nah, I'm gonna bang a couple of furious slashes, execute. Yeah, and then we can execute some more. A couple of furious slashes. Execute, bloodthirst, yeah, we can have a bit more fun. No, a couple of furious slashes, execute, bloodthirst, and we're going back again. So this is all cool, yeah? Now, wild strikes, furious slashes, sorry. Now, because my cooldowns are back up now, and I do have draft of souls to consider, how do you do this? So the way you're going to do it is you're going to execute to refresh this, then you're going to go into your cooldowns with bloodthirst and then draft of souls. So I'll show you. So execute, battle cry, that one, into draft of souls, and then execute on the way out. So you just make it. It's pretty sketchy. I mean, the other way you could do it, I guess, is you could do all your cooldowns. This is probably the safer way. You could pop all your cooldowns into bloodthirst, execute once, then draft the souls, and then once the draft of souls is over, execute again, and then just go back into what you're doing. Yeah, that's what you can do. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen, as we climb the stacks of Juggernaut. This is a huge amount of fun, by the way. I highly recommend going into your old view garrison and doing this. Like, everybody should get this stack to 100 at least once. If you're playing a warrior, or even if you're not playing a warrior. Oops, just do it. It is so much fun. Look at these mill main hands. It's just so cool. That's it, we're gonna do it. This video's been going for 20 minutes. Fuck it. If you're stuck around this long, we're going for it. Kai, I can do that window again. So what we'll do is we'll execute, cooldowns, bloodthirst, execute, and then draft the souls, alright? So, execute, wait for that. So cooldowns, bloodthirst, execute, draft the souls, and then follow it up with an execute. Stacks. 94 stacks. 94 stacks. 77 stacks. 98. 99, and we've made it. It's a pity. A minute till we can see how big this will be with full stacks. I'm gonna do it. A couple of wild strikes. Sorry, a few slashes. I'm quite interested to see how hard this will hit. I haven't done this in such a long time. 30 seconds. Come on, Avatar. Ah, and then the target dummy just healed up to full. Sorry. Another time then. What a bastard. Oh well. What was the biggest one that we hit? Main hand, 8.1 million. That's hilariously cool. That's so good. The biggest offhand was nearly 4 mil. So anyway, that dragged on. Apologies, but that's all that. For AOE, I'll just might as well add this on to the end. For AOE, just get your whatever the buff's called, meat cleaver up. If you intend on bloodthirsting, just get your meat cleaver buff up first. Or if you intend on rampaging, just again get the buff up first. That's all there is to it. And for you cooldown windows, I find it best to get my stack, cooldowns rampage, fury, and then just bang whirlwinds. And then just before your battlecry window ends, hit another bloodthirst, because you can just get another enrage window. That's all that is, yeah. Anyway, that's that. Best of luck on your journeys, and that sort of concludes the Fury little 3-part series I made just then. Instead of having it all in one guide, I'll put up another link to my weak auras and stuff. I might even do a little video on my weak auras just so you can see what it's all about. But yeah, that's that one in the bank. I know it's massively late, but Nighthold's almost over. There you go. Cheers, guys.